VGK falls apart in the third period of Saturday's game in Buffalo. They allowed two shorthanded goals along the way to the Sabres in a 7-2 road loss. VGK has one more game on Monday in Columbus, but they will come back home to Las Vegas with a losing record on this 5-game road swing. We've got more ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your number one choice, your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast, and please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Right now, new customers will get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. Plain and simple. VGK embarrassed in Buffalo on Saturday. No two ways about it, Chris. I saw a lack of effort on the part of the VGK, no matter if they were playing with or without Eichel or Stone. Still no effort. VGK giving up a couple of shorthanded goals in that contest to Dylan Cousins, and Logan Thompson pretty much, oh boy, he put the puck in the back of the net by himself. He was beaten 5-hole. What a disaster. Sabres had men in front of the net all night long. We talked about the lack of rebound control on the show on Friday, and they just cannot control the puck in front of the net. A lot of loose pucks in front of the net, a lot of loose ice there, especially in the third period. 4 Sabres goals in the third, and the defense, which has been playing now with all of its starters for 5 or 6 games, was absolutely awful. And Bruce Cassidy said the goaltenders are healthy and they need to play better and to lead this team. And the back end, Cassidy said, has to play better. And I'm getting ripped because I'm calling them the Folded Knights, but that was an absolute disaster yesterday. We're recording this on Sunday in Buffalo.
We're recording in Buffalo?
Recording this on Sunday in Buffalo.
I know. I heard you. All right, so the comment, the only pushback I have in all that is effort. I'm not going to say the team isn't trying. They're trying. They're in a bad spot right now. Is the effort good? God, no, it's not great at all. The execution is bad. There's just a million bad things happening. So first 5 goals really, really quickly here. Brisson loses a battle. Carlson gets his pocket picked. 1-0. My terrible handwriting says Theo WTH, standing for what the hockey sticks right there. I don't know what Shea Theodore was doing on the boards there. He couldn't control the puck, breakaway. Okay, fine. Third goal. Martinez loses the puck, turns it over, loses a battle. And I wrote something else on. I can't read my writing, but it was bad.
It's something about HE double hockey sticks.
Probably. And then McNabb, just a weird play on, this is the 4th goal. McNabb, a weird play on the boards. Nick Waugh just kind of skates by, nonchalantly, one-handed attempt at the puck. Denisenko's in la-la land. Now it's 4-0. And the last goal, it starts on the offensive side of the ice with Fraser and Morelli not being able to contain the puck deep. Nick Hague, not a lot of effort going into the corner. Pietrangelo just lost in front of the net. They can't clear it out. So these aren't issues that Jack Eichel and Mark Stone will fix. They'll definitely help. But these are not issues that those two being out of lineup are going to fix right now. And the puck management is just abysmal. It's mistakes being made. Like all those names I said, besides Brisson, Morelli, and Fraze, there's a lot of experience. Shea Theodore, Alec Martinez, Nick Hague,
Defense,
Nick Waugh, Braden McNabb.
All the defensemen. You named 4 of 5 players that are defensemen, and they're supposed to be stepping it up because this team is shorthanded.
They're the anchors of the team, as the goaltending. And the blame is equal. This is not an Aiden Hill problem. This is not a Logan Thompson problem. It's, if I'm going to point a finger at a large area, if you will, I'll definitely point to the defense and goaltending as a whole. But also the defense and goaltending needs help from the forwards to play defense. So there's a lot happening right now.
5 consecutive goals for Buffalo for the first time in 18 years. And too much open ice, as I said there in that third period. You
First
okay
time
there?
in 18 years. I almost choked on the coffee.
5 consecutive goals. Let's talk about Brendan Brisson. He was a bright spot in that game, and hopefully, are they showcasing Brisson? Again, we're headed to the trade deadline coming up on Friday. I don't think anyone's safe other than, the top superstars and Eichel and Stone. And I don't know. I don't think
Carlson's
there's a
safe.
lot of, oh, geez. Okay. Even though he coughs up the puck. So he kind of equalized things there because he scored a goal and he gave one away again. But in any event, let's talk about Brisson.
Brisson, a couple things there. Yeah, we got a goal. Okay, cool. But he also got sent down in the lines, which you can tell Cassidy is sending a message about him and his puck management and physicality and stuff. So Brisson, I think everyone knows where his ceiling could possibly be. Is he close to it? The answer is no. Is that partially because he's bouncing between the NHL and the AHL? Yeah. Is it possible because he's playing on the third and fourth lines at times in the NHL, which is not where he's going to end up should he one day become an everyday NHL player? That's a big part of it too. Brisson is a first or second line winger. End of story. End of story. That's where his strength is going to be when he develops into a daily NHL talent. And I'm sure there are many franchises that do see his ceiling, his potential, and where it could be. And if Brisson winds up becoming collateral damage as a result of what's about to happen this week, so be it. I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, okay, put to you like this. If the Golden Knights are making, and we'll hit this obviously more in the second segment, but if the Golden Knights are making an aggressive move to, line the chips up, Brisson may not be here. If Brisson remains a Golden Knight past Friday, it might have been a little bit of a sell-off.
Yeah. And Edmonton, by the way, surpassed VGK and moves up into second place in the division. There are a lot of teams right now that are charging. I think Calgary even has won 5 straight. They're starting to make some moves. You got the Kings still in the hunt. This is a very scary time.
The Flames are selling. That's the funnier thing.
I know, right? It's just kind of funny the way that things are shaking out there in the Pacific. But VGK right now, this is a critical period for the Golden Knights. And we know they're going to have to make some moves before Friday's deadline. That is a given right now. We've got
here you go.
VGK,
Here you go. I'm cutting you off.
Hang on. 2-6-1 in the last 9. 2-6-1. Go ahead.
Or 10, what do we say? 10, 8-2 in the last 20 or something like that. Either way, it's bad. All right. So
okay, go ahead.
83, 81, 79, 72. That's your top 4 teams in points in the Central Division. 83, 74, 73, and 70. That is your top 4 points in the Pacific Division. Golden Knights have 73 points. The Kings right now have 70 points and 2 games in hand. Right now, the Golden Knights points percentage are, well, technically they're still above the Kings, but barely. Right now, the Golden Knights are in a playoff spots by 5 points. Flames, will they be there down the stretch? I don't know, but they're doing okay right now. Blues, will they be there down the stretch? Wild, they've been playing a lot better. They're 5-4. They've slowed down a little bit on a 3-game losing streak.
The Wild, my Stanley Cup champions this season.
Hey, Tony's got a bold take this morning. I like it. So, I mean, we're not talking about the Golden Knights right now charging the Pacific. We're not talking about the Golden Knights, trying to get a good number 2 seed. We're talking about the Golden Knights treading water to make the playoffs right now. This is a concern. But, I mean, back to the Sabres game, and then I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun in the second segment here. It's not the problems that you see. This is just what every game has almost been like. They got together in Toronto this week. Okay, great. But this is a road trip where the team should have come home with between 6 and 8 points. 6 points, right? All right. We got games. Ottawa is where it started. Buffalo and Columbus. That's got to be 6 points at this stage of the year. End of story. You find a way to get 1 point against Boston or Toronto, or maybe some way, somehow, 6 or 7 points on the road trip. It's not a bad trip. And I mean, I guess if the Golden Knights get the win against Columbus, which is not a foregone conclusion, that's 5 points on the road trip. Like, I guess that doesn't feel horrible, but that also tells us where the bar is right now with this team. The bar is low. The bar is very low right now.
Well, I did say the Wild. I have to amend my prediction, of course, because I said earlier that a Canadian team would win the Cup. So it'll be a Canadian team versus the Wild. So what do we have?
Toronto? Well, they're pretty far north, aren't they? I mean, they can pass for Canadian.
Yeah, they almost pass. Okay, coming up next, your advice to Kelly McCrimmon this week. I also need advice, Chris. Am I a podcaster, an entertainer, a journalist? I have no alleged in all those three categories because a lot of flack I got yesterday. And that's coming up next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. And you could bet on all of your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets. They've got live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and much, much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the National Basketball Association. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. And thanks so much for everyone putting in their WTF comments last week. We did have a couple of winners. One other winner was out of the area, so that was cool. So we sent out the tickets. Congratulations to the folks that won tickets. WTF, What the Friday. That's each and every Friday.
I'm jumping in really fast. Speaking of thank yous, you saw me like, so E-Runs, Eric Rabbers, had lunch with him and is certainly his significantly better half yesterday. We had a nice lunch at one of my favorite places, Windy City Beefs and Pizza. Great catching up with some good Chicago folks and stuff. And I think
did you give him the autographed photo that I sent you to give him?
Yeah, but it wound up in the garbage can. I don't know. It's weird. He didn't like you. No, he likes you a lot. They both like you.
Hashtag Rick.
No, but the one story I do want to share is I'm trying to get the right pieces here, but they're originally from Chicago. Now they're in the Colorado area, but they came to Vegas, I believe. I think they just randomly caught a Golden Knights game. I could be missing a little bit of this, but point being is they're one of the, I guess you can consider newer fans that fell, not newer hockey fans. They got a they're very knowledgeable hockey fans, but one of the newer type of fans that just kind of falls in love with the team and the city and the support and everything. So I think that's just important to recognize that there are so many Golden Knight fans out there that simply went to a game at T-Mobile.
I'm going to cut you off. That are front
runners. You shut up. You shut up, Tony. That's it. I got it on, Tony.
Here's something.
You were
shut up, Tony.
Okay,
they fell in love with. Hold on, you stop cutting me off. I'm saying something nice right now.
It's Sunday.
No, but they fell in love with the team. They're still in love with the team. Love coming to the games. Love going to T-Mobile. Maybe a little upset right now with the way things are going, but just a lot of fun. Good catching up about the city and some fun areas, and even that very strange individual that looked like he was highly medicated that wanted to share some Chicago stories with us as well. That was bizarre, but thank you guys very much. Had a wonderful lunch with y'all, and can't wait to do it again.
Very cool.
Okay, Tony, go ahead.
And it's good that you're the fans' fan. You're the fan favorite.
You take me out for a good lunch at a Chicago joint. I'm your best friend for at least 2 hours.
All I could think about yesterday, as we saw Edmonton pass VGK in the standings, was how different things could have been in the playoffs. I don't think VGK, they might not have won the Cup last year, right? If they don't hang on to first place there on the final game.
I don't know. You can what if a lot of things, but they looked really good in the playoffs last year, Tony. They looked really good in the playoffs. So many things
had to go right. You don't think that finishing first in a division matters?
Oh, I didn't say that either. It matters a ton.
Well,
but the Golden Knights, I think, were on a mission last year.
I know. I just wanted to put you on the spot. Okay.
No, it's fair. It's very fair.
Your advice to Kelly McCrimmon this week. Okay, talk about your X or Z or tweet.
Yeah, listen, this is I lightly hit on this last week, even before. I think it might have been Monday's or Tuesday's show before the Toronto game, where I don't think at that time, I didn't think it was a foregone conclusion that coming into Sunday, March 3rd, Monday, March 4th, 3, 4, 5 days before the trade deadline, that the Golden Knights were going to push their chips in and do everything they could to go for a Stanley Cup. I didn't. I was concerned then. And then after, bad start in the Bruins game, not an awful loss, but definitely a bad start. And then just watching Buffalo just, wipe the mat with the Golden Knights. This is an interesting week coming up. So that got me wondering, are the Golden Knights buying or selling right now? And I think I still know McCrimmon's probably going to do.
Get an experienced goaltender. My confidence level was a 7 2 weeks
ago.
But the
defense, though, Tony,
it went down to 6, down to 5. It's about a 4.5. I've got a 4 and a hook on my confidence scale because neither one, it was the concern coming into the season, Chris. Again, neither one of these goaltenders were everyday goalies. Neither one.
No, and that was something that I point out many times, and I got dragged in all the articles I wrote all summer about it.
No, you say that stuff. You say that, and then they drag me. So just continue to do.
That's also fair. So some of the comments. So here's the tweet that I put out last night. I edited one of those incoming phone call things. I felt so tech savvy for a minute. McCrimmon gives you a phone call. You look down at the phone. McCrimmon's call. I know Tony would deny the call, but most of us would take the call.
No, I would say new phone. Who dis?
New phone. Who dis? There you go. Cool kids. So McCrimmon calls you, says, "Hey, what do you think we should do? Right? What should I do? What kind of moves should I make?" And there were some very fun ones here. I only want to say fun ones, like, okay, puck, have issues clearing the puck, fix that. Okay, fine, whatever. Boone Jenner and a gritty winger that can score. Okay, fine. People talking about we need an offense. TA says we need offense. Trade 1 2-way new wingers. If we lose someone, Stevenson, so be it. Team's not trading Stevenson if they're going to be a cup contender. Let's be clear about this. VGK Outsider says go big. I don't know about that. Here's an interesting one from VGK Prospect Fan. Be patient. Trust your scouting team. Trust your coach. Don't panic. I'm panicking. As much as the team's performance is shifting downwards, keep the roster intact. Add pieces that mitigate weaknesses. The team understands they have to play better. They just need to execute. And then I asked if the weakness was lack of talent and blah, blah, blah. Someone says sell Marchie and Stevie while they have the highest value. So they got something to build on. Okay. Trade Martinez, get a winger or two. The trade market for Martinez is going to be soft. It's not going to return any value. If someone were to take his entire salary, okay, fine. Maybe you're onto something, but is that the player you want to trade going into the playoffs?
You get my tweet. I'm going to cut you off right there.
Go ahead, please.
No, I'm just kidding. But Bjornfoot's got to go, man. Okay.
Boy, there's the problem. So point being is there's a lot of people talking about selling and moving all these parts and stuff. Here's my concern right now. Are the Golden Knights, because apparently Jack Eichel and Mark Stone not being with the team is the problem. That's what everyone thinks, at least. I don't think that's the problem. That's part of the problem.
No, it doesn't make up for lack of effort. There was no effort in that game.
Execution and effort combined.
And
proper execution. Oh, the whole team's been in the back of the yellow bus for a while, and that's not a hot take by any means. Besides, I'm having trouble thinking about even like a bright spot besides March or so right now. That's not good. But point being is, like, there's so many things. Like, they need a gritty winger, they need someone that can score. There's a problem with the defense. Your perspectives about the goalies. You can't fix all this in 4 days going to the deadline. You cannot fix all these things. It is not fixable. I'm still maintaining that the guy in the box right here might help things. That could help the morale factor with Mark Stone not being on the bench. And then you still need that scorer. You still need that Tarasenko. You still need that who else? You still need that Jake Gensel. You still need all these other players right now. Like, is it worth moving all these parts around to try and compete with Edmonton and Vancouver and all these teams in the Pacific Division? Like, I don't think it's there. I said this early on. I got dragged for this one. If things aren't going well, this is a spot where I really think McCrimmon needs to consider. I'm not saying needs to consider what the return is for a player like Marchessault and Stevenson right now, should this week not get any better.
Yeah, no one should.
It's not selling out. Right, but
No.
it's not selling out. That's the thing. Like, they're not going to win the cup if they trade those players. Let's be clear. But
Yeah.
it's not a long-term rebuild. You can get players that can help down the road in prospects and draft picks. But then that also frees up $10 million or $9 million, call it, that can be used in the offseason to help get the team back to where it needs to be next season. That's something that I
Okay.
really think needs to be considered. Go. Sorry, I
Here's
went
what
really
I
long
think
there.
at the trade deadline, as it looms on Friday, they can unload so many like pieces in the AHL. There's a lot of players that are just, I get the feeling of sameness. Seriously. And did we get a tweet the other day about Buchnevich, perhaps for VGK? Is
Sure,
is
Bushnevich is
that
out
Pavel?
there. I mean,
Is that
yeah,
Pavel? So we'd
yeah,
have two
another Blues
Pavels.
player,
Great,
and fine.
great.
Like,
Two Pavels. No, no, no.
I'm
Two
okay
Pavels
with
on this team.
familiar
Come
players
on.
coming to VGK with either personnel or the ties to people like Petrangelo and Barbashev. Like bring the whole Blues team over. Let's get Jordan Binnington. There we go. Let's really spice up. LT for Jordan Binnington. I don't want to do that, but it'd be fun.
Okay.
No, I
Coming
don't
up
want to do that.
next, we've got a preview of this VGK Columbus Blue Jackets game
Do we have to?
as VGK hopes to end this road trip on a winning note in Columbus on Monday. We'll preview that game next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Gametime is the only ticketing app, really, that gives you the complete peace of mind with your purchase. Gametime has deals on tickets right up until the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts, it's the place to find last-minute seats. With zone deals, you can pick the section. Gametime will pick the seats for you. It's an average of 18% savings. Both myself and Chris utilize the Gametime app, and the Gametime guarantee means that you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you with 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. You can download the Gametime app today, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will get $20 off. Download Gametime today. You've got last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back. Again, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Fridays, WTF. Saturday, the Chris and Chris show. Did the show go off the rails on Saturday?
No, not really. No, the last week's was really off the rails. It gave the kids way too much sugar. We recorded on Friday night. It was bad, but no, it wasn't a bad show. It was
Too
just a
much sugar.
little hectic. But yesterday's was good.
All right. I want to give a special shout out to Buckin Barry Odom, UNLV's head football coach, rode the bull last night at the South Point. Yep. The head football coach rode a bull at the South Point.
Like a real bull.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No,
At the
we're not
South
talking
Point.
like the mechanical one, like on
No,
bikini beer nights or whatever.
no, it was part of
okay.
Tough Hedeman's event, right? And
Okay.
he got on
Rode a
there,
bull.
bucked him a little bit. His head went down, and the bull came back on him and hit him in the noggin. And that's when he fell off the bull, and he was just dazed and confused. I'll see him today at UNLV football practice, but hopefully the coach is okay. He was raising money
Concussion
for
return
the
questionable.
UNLV for the he's out. He's listed as day to day, and hopefully coach is okay. If I know he's a little banged up. Well, no, yesterday he was definitely concerned about doing this, raise money again for the UNLV Football Foundation.
Oh, okay. So it's charity. Okay. It wasn't just something on a Saturday night to do. Got it.
Yeah. No.
I feel better.
No, it was, you need to look it up. It's on my Twitter feed at Tony Dasco. You see it right there. VGK should get a W on Monday, right over there somewhere.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah. Blue Jackets in last place in the Metro.
Say the Golden Knights should win. Did I hear that?
I said should.
Okay.
20, 30, and 10, 50 points. This is the first meeting of the season between these two teams. And VGK can ill afford to just show up. Blue Jackets have shown some fight of late. They've split their last 4 games. They beat my Rangers, and they come off of a win over your lowly Chicago Blackhawks, a game in which Alexander Texier scored a goal in the opening minute, and then they just pulled away in that contest. 2 of the Blue Jackets stars have been out of the lineup. Patrick Laine, I think he's on NHL player assistance now following an injury. And the rookie who had a promising start, that's Adam Fantilli, has a calf laceration, and he's out for 8 weeks. Johnny Gaudreau has the hot stick of late, 2 goals, 9 assists over the last 10. Boone Jenner with 19 goals on the season. And the goaltender, Elvis Merzlikins, gosh, I got to get that out there. He has stopped 90 of his last 96 shots.
That's a good stat.
VGK had better show up in this game.
They better show up in every game right now. I mean, or they won't be in the playoffs. Let's be clear here and acknowledge the situation. Merzlikins, I mean, 3-2-1 goals against. You look at that, you're like, ugh. But he's got a 904 save percentage on a bad team with 35 games played. So Merzlikins is doing great. He's definitely not going to make things easy. I mean, maybe the Golden Knights get lucky and get Daniil Tarasov, but I doubt that's going to happen. Spencer Martin, who got traded somewhere and crushed the Golden Knights. Where did he? The Golden Knights went against Spencer Martin, and whatever the situation is, who cares? Moving on.
Is it Carolina? No.
Okay. Maybe it might have been. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. Go
Someone
ahead.
else that beat the Golden Knights lately. It's a long list. My first standout that I'm actually looking at has nothing to do with the game, but I don't look at Columbus as necessarily a hotbed for hockey. I don't know the market either. I don't make sure I'm understanding where I'm coming from.
No. But they get great fan support there.
They're drawing 18,000 plus every single game almost. This is great.
Yeah, one of my friends in Columbus said that they still continue to draw. They got the fan appeal their first season when they were there in Columbus, and the fans have just stuck it out through thick and thin. And talk about loyal fans. That's really
here's
good.
The interesting thing. Early in the season, Tony, and just going deeper, they're drawing like 15,000, 16,000. As the season progressed, and maybe this is good market, whatever it is, they've gone up.
They want them to lose. Tankathon.
Well, the fans love it because they're coming out to the tune of, they went from 15,000, 16,000 to 18,000 a game. But I mean, back to the game here, like looking at some stats. I mean, we talked about the goaltending. Johnny Gaudreau, he's just enjoying life, being closer to home, not being in Gary anymore. With 43 points in 60 games, he's getting paid a lot of money to put up that. You can drop a Carlson comment if you want, even for that one. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Zach Werenski, 36 points, defenseman, 48 games, +5. So that's a good season considering where the Blue Jackets are as far as their plus minus. I think they're minus 24 goals on the season. Marchenko, younger player, doing well, 31 points, 58 games. You mentioned the Fantilli situation. That's just unfortunate. But listen, like you said, this isn't a layup. The Sabres game wasn't a layup. And I mean, how much would the Sabres have beat the Golden Knights if Jack Eichel played that game? Think about that. They would have been even more pumped up to beat the Golden Knights that game. I hate to even say it like that. Yeah. So
no, that's true.
The Blue Jackets are getting they're getting the dying puppy right now. I mean, that's not the best picture to paint, but they're getting the suffering animal right now. And they got a shot to put another dagger into the Golden Knights right now, and that's what's starting to happen. And it's sad to think of it like that, but that's the reality right now that we as Golden Knights fans and followers are experiencing. But there's a positive. There's still 20-ish games left in the season. Maybe it's just a more creative path to a successful season for the Golden Knights.
Cole Sellinger also has scored goals in his last 3 games. The biggest concern with CBJ is their collapses in the third period. I haven't seen any stats of late, but there was one juncture, Chris, where they had 8 blown leads. Remember that game? I think it was Toronto, and they gave up 5 consecutive goals in that game. And so, but they wound up, I think, coming back and winning it in OT. But here's a team that just falls apart in period number 3. And just like the Golden.
I would say, let's hope the Golden Knights don't, have a 3 or 4 goal deficit and hoping to recreate that magic.
Oh my
goodness! I don't know.
And Jack Eichel returns against Columbus.
I hope so. I mean, I hope it's the right time for him to return, I guess is the better thing to say. Although, not knowing anything about his situation beyond what everyone else is speculating about, if there is a need to rush him a little bit, this is the time. I mean, this is the time you got to push a little bit right now because it's slipping away. Like, it is legitimately slipping away right now. This is a side of me that you don't hear a lot on this podcast, but the reality is the Golden Knights need to do some things that are maybe a little less comfortable to get things going right now. Get Eichel out there in this game, even if he's not 100%. Hopefully, he will be 100% with a couple days between Columbus and Vancouver.
Give him a pitch count of sorts.
Cassidy has mentioned that he doesn't necessarily about Shea Theodore last week. The comment was, once you're cleared, you're cleared.
Yeah.
So that in my mind says, Cassidy says, if you're cleared to go, you are going to go and you're ready to play your full, whatever the full game is. And I don't know if I agree with that, but to be fair, Shea Theodore has been probably the other bright spot, although he had a rough game against Buffalo, but he's been the other bright spot for the last 4 or 5 games too.
Okay. The 7th of March is when VGK returns home against Vancouver. How many new players will we see in the lineup on that night?
On that night, particularly against Vancouver, or the whatever the Saturday game is after that?
Well, I think they're going to do something before the trade deadline.
They're going to do something. I mean, I think the game to watch more importantly is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much the Golden Knights will get done, like actually leading up to the deadline to get Detroit, although I could see a midnight deal. I mean, like, okay, if the Golden Knights beat Columbus and beat Vancouver, does McCrimmon start working the phones to get someone? To acquire that Stanley Cup piece, or if the Golden Knights
it doesn't matter
against both of these games, does it go the like? Is McCrimmon's mind made up no matter what happens in these?
I think it's made up. I think they're already the wheels are in motion already.
Okay, are they buying or selling then? Are they buying or selling this week?
I would sell. I didn't
ask what you would do. What would he do? You said McCrimmon's mind is made up. What do you think McCrimmon's doing this week?
Sell.
You think he's selling?
Yeah, he's going to sell.
I don't know. I growing up a White Sox fan. I grew up with Kenny Williams as the GM, and that dude wouldn't sell anything. He'd buy everything and anything there was. So
shiny new toys. I know.
I think McCrimmon buys. I don't think McCrimmon knows any other way, and I'm okay with it. I have full trust in McCrimmon. But if I got that phone call that I posted earlier, I'm seriously going to talk him into considering what's out there for players with expiring contracts.
Good graphic arts work, by the way. And you failed to mention Barbashev against Krebs yesterday. Didn't they tangle?
It was fine, but I mean, why? Like at that point in the game, why? Like, what are you trying to do? The game is done. Barbashev, do that when it's 4-2. You know what I mean?
Isn't that funny though? How that Barbashev piece held up the Eichel deal? I can't stop laughing about that. That was
Krebs. You mean Krebs? Yeah.
I
like Krebs. He's not necessarily the most relevant player on that team, but he tried to fight Eichel last time they played. He took on Barbashev. I like Krebs. He's fun. I like Krebs.
All right. This is our Monday show coming up on Tuesday. The recap.
Brunch. It's our brunch.
CBJ. It's our brunch show. Good call.
Sunday brunch. I like that.
VGK 5-5-0 against CBJ. And they beat the Columbus Blue Jackets last year. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much, and especially our everydayers, and especially Chris. Thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate you.
The goalie, he drew into that game that was on the Golden Knights that got traded. He was like their 6th-string goalie, wound up getting traded in the Quick deal.
That was Quick.
The goalie behind Quick.
Columbus.
The goalie behind Quick. We always talked about.
I know.
You never got a welcome back video that day.
Yeah, we did know that. Okay. We appreciate you tuning in. Fridays are WTF. What the Fridays, Saturdays, Chris Times Chris show, the YouTube exclusive. Please subscribe there. From my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again on Tuesday, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.